I'm sure most of us have heard the popular phrase, listen to the message, not the messenger, or don't shoot the messenger. In this case, it's going to apply even more than ever. I know there's going to be a lot of people when you hear these clips that I'm about to play, you're going to say, man, Barkley, you don't got a ring. How could you even say that? The substance and what he's saying, though, I think there's truth in it and it holds a lot of weight. I'll get into it. And as this podcast was happening, Charles Barkley, Bill Simmons are talking about a lot of different topics. There was at least 2 times when Bill Simmons brought up either Giannis Antetokounmpo or the Milwaukee Bucks. It seemed like he did it in hopes that Charles Barkley would expand on it and really tell his thoughts about the team or Giannis himself. And that didn't happen. Then finally, in the clip that I have, he just says straight up, yo, it seems like you're not really big on the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm surprised you haven't really gone into details about the team. And then Charles Barkley really says his opinion on what he feels about Giannis Antetokounmpo, what he got to improve on. And I will say this, for me, I'm kind of big on Milwaukee Bucks. I believe with Damian Lillard, he's healthy. Chris Middleton, full health. Giannis, if those 3 could come together with Doc Rivers, who I believe is still a good coach despite what people say. He's 4th all-time in NBA history for coaches with the most wins in playoff history. The only guys who are ahead of him is Phil Jackson, Pat Riley, and Greg Popovich. Those are some heavy hitters, man. Without further ado, though, let's get into this.
Yeah, we probably miss it, but that's the point. There's so many teams in the.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. There's one team I say I'm curious to see how they're gonna do.
It's interesting. You're not interested in Milwaukee at all, huh? You just feel like that runs over.
I'm not.
What do you think? They're too old, other than Giannis?
I think that Giannis has to get better as a basketball player.
Well, he's training with Drew Hanlon this year, apparently.
Yeah, but that's just going downhill 1-on-5 is not gonna work.
Yeah,
and it doesn't work. And he's a terrific player and terrific kid, but he's got to get better as a basketball player. So no, I'm not a Milwaukee guy. I would, if I had to pick.
Don't tell Doc.
I would. Yeah.
As I was saying earlier, since Charles Barkley doesn't have a ring, this will fall on deaf ears for some people. Others will think this is hate. And to be honest, Giannis Antetokounmpo with an MVP, a championship under his belt, a defensive player of the year. As long as he continues this superstar level that he has, he's going to almost more than likely surpass Charles Barkley on an all-time list when it comes to the greatest power forwards ever that played in the league. And for me, I got Tim Duncan, number 1, Kevin Garnett, number 2, Karl Malone, number 3. Giannis is going to be in that bracket very, very soon, if not now. But let's really analyze his game. When I watch Giannis, he doesn't have a great handle. It's not bad. He could do some dribbling here and there, but it's not like he's going to cross over somebody or really shake you out of your sneakers. On top of that, he's not a great playmaker either. Now, he does get assists. I do see games where he may get 5, 6, 7 assists. He's being double teamed and really harassed when he has the ball so much he ends up finding open guys. That's still not his overall strength, though. He's not going to hit you with a pass that you don't see coming that freezes the defense, get people looking the other way. Not somebody who creates his own shot either. Right, off the dribble, a post game, that's not something that he has either, which I think with his size and athleticism, he should develop more of a post game. And so his number 1 attribute is what Charles Barkley said, going downhill, fast break, dunking, overpowering people. This is why Shaquille O'Neal compared himself to Giannis. He said that I am playing in today's league. People say I couldn't play today. I'm Giannis Antetokounmpo. Here's the huge difference though. Yes, Shaq couldn't shoot the ball occasionally outside of the paint like a Giannis, nor could he dribble the ball up and down the court or even in the half court a little bit like you'll see Giannis do from time to time. But Shaq could get the ball in the post, do great footwork, up and under, and get you a basket. A lot of people just talk about his dominance, the way he just dunked over people, overpowered, Superman kind of strength. They don't often show you the plays and really dissect his game where he's showing you elegance, finesse, footwork, freeze the defense, boom, post move. Shaq had that in his game. In other words, Shaq didn't have to rely on being 7'1", 300 pounds as much as it's shown in the highlights all the time. And when now we have this conversation about skill, generational players versus today's, what skills they got, that word that we keep hearing over and over again, especially with Anthony Edwards, there was guys specifically in the 90s that had more skill than what I see a Giannis doing. No disrespect at all. I said that he's going to go down as one of the greatest power forwards. I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way. Kevin Garnett had a mid-range shot. Karl Malone had a mid-range shot. So did Tim Duncan, not to the extent of Malone and what Garnett did, But all three of those guys, I would trust their shot more, especially open, more than a Giannis Antetokounmpo, if I'm being honest. And that's another part of his game he got to work on. Now, he was a better three-point shooter. Because of the era that we're in, somebody like a Giannis had to come out of the paint, come out of the mid-range, and be able to at least hit open three-point shots. I believe if Duncan, and especially specifically Malone and Garnett, if they were in their prime in today's era right now, I would see them developing a three-point shot, at least an open one. It's kind of like Chris Bosh on the Raptors. When he first came in the league, he was not shooting three-pointers at all. In Toronto, he gets to Miami, all of a sudden he's knocking them down like it's nothing. Even so, Giannis is not a three-point threat. I'm just mentioning that to keep the conversation as fair as possible.
We were down 2-0 against Milwaukee. You know, Nick Nurse came into the locker room and said, you know, we're going to make some adjustments. We'll get back to Toronto and we're going to be ready. And Kawhi said the adjustment is I'm guarding Giannis.
That was Phil Handy, who was an assistant coach for the Toronto Raptors when they went on their 2019 run to win the championship. The thing about the series he's talking about, which was the Eastern Conference Finals against the Milwaukee Bucks, not only did Kawhi Leonard guard Giannis from there on out after they lost the first two games, they also used a box and one, which meant that Kawhi Leonard was specifically guarding Giannis Antetokounmpo while the rest of the Toronto Raptors were in his zone defense. Meaning, I'm going to stick you. You're not going anywhere. The paint is crowded. You have to pass the ball to somebody who's open. Somebody's open on your team, and you got to hit them. You're not getting to this basket. Everywhere is crowded. And that served as a moment that really showed Giannis didn't have a skill set outside of crashing to the rim and getting his. You just put bodies in front of him, and things got a lot more complicated. I think that's what Charles Barkley's talking about, stuff like that to really elevate his game. They won a championship with just Chris Middleton being the guy that Giannis could depend on, who could create his own shot, hit a tough basket when the defense is collapsing on Giannis too much. He's a shooter as well. You got Dame Lillard now. That could work, man. Giannis got the perfect pieces around him to really complement his game. And when it was just him and Middleton, in some ways it reminded me of Kobe and Shaq. Stay with me. I know Middleton is not anywhere on Kobe's level. Shaq is on a whole nother stratosphere. Kobe played a much bigger role in helping them get those championships, even though he didn't get the finals MVP. I understand all of that. I'm just making the comparison in terms of you have a guy who's very dominant physically, can't really create his own shot. Then you got another all-star on the wing who could do that for you when you really need it. That's what I saw on a micro level when I watched the Bucks, right, with Giannis and Middleton. That's all I got for now. Let me know how you're feeling about this. Is Charles Barkley hating? Am I wrong? Do you think that this is Barkley just talking and there's no credence to what he's saying? Or do you see the point that he's making and agree with some of the points that I was making throughout this video myself? Hit me up in the comment section. Tell me about Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Bucks. Where do you see them going? Do you like the whole Doc Rivers and Dame edition with Giannis now? I want to know everything that you're thinking. Hit me up in the comment section. Salute for listening as always. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace.